Hello, welcome to my ranking of the Best Picture nominees for the 2021 Oscars. I'll be dividing the ranking into four parts. Spoiler alert, there's just one movie that is 10 out of 10 for me. At number 8, we have Mank. I like David Fincher, he's a fantastic director, but my goodness, this film is boring. I really like the technical parts, I really like the score, the jazzy score. I really like the cinematography, I think it's gorgeous. The costumes, the set designs, fantastic. Technical parts is a masterpiece. The narrative is just so boring. I didn't fall asleep, but I just felt uninterested in the film. Gary Oldman, he's good in this film, but I think he was miscast, even though he was great in this film. Amanda Seyfried was fantastic in this film. Nobody's talking about Lily Collins' performance. I thought Lily's performance was like one of the more underrated performances of the year. But yeah, this is just a boring film. For me, Mank is an 8 out of 10. At number 7, we have Trial of the Chicago 7. Aaron Sorkin is the best part and the worst part of this film. Sorkin's writing is fantastic. It's quick pace. It is fast paced. I was interested in the entire film. However, his directing wasn't great. Apparently, Steven Spielberg and Paul Greengrass was supposed to direct the film, and I think those two directors would have been a better choice than Sorkin. The performances were pretty good. I really enjoyed the performances. Sacha Baron Cohen was great. Mark Rylance was fantastic. Jeremy Strong was surprisingly good. For the most part, I like the cast. I like the screenwriting. In a way, I like the editing. But directing was not great. The ending was pretty cheesy, pretty terrible. It could have had a better ending. I'm giving this film an 8.5 out of 10. Now let's get to the lower mid tier. There are some controversial picks. Number 6 is Promising Young Woman. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy this film. It's right here on my virtual library. But there's better films I saw. This film is not a revenge thriller like it's marketed. It's more of a movie about a woman grieving. Not a revenge thriller, so if you're looking for a revenge thriller film, this is not it. While I don't recommend this film to victims of SA, I recommend people watch it, make their own opinion about it, because this film is very controversial. This will go down as one of the more controversial films of the 2020s. Whether you like it or not, this discussion about this film won't go away anytime soon. The things I like about the movie was Carey Mulligan's performance. Even though I want her to win Best Actress, I don't think she will. I really like the soundtrack, whether it's Stars Are Blind or Boys by Charlie XCX. I like the soundtrack. I like the end credits song, Last Laugh by Fletcher, really good pop song. Really like, the cinematography, the casting. The only problem I have with this film is the dialogue. Don't get me wrong, the screenplay is fantastic, but the dialogue, I think, felt a bit too cheesy, and you could clearly tell that someone from England wrote this film. One example is the med school controversy. The main character started med school around 18, 19 years old. But here in the States, you have to be 23, 24 to be in med school. But if you do a quick Google search, you can see that you have to be 18 and older to be in med school in England. So Emerald Fennell should have done more research. But anyway, I thought it was a really good film. I recommend it. I give this film a 9 out of 10. And number 5, this is a controversial take, but Nomadland. Don't get me wrong, I like Chloe Zhao's directing, I like cinematography. I thought Frances McDormand's acting was genuine and authentic. However, I began to feel uninterested with the film around the third act. There was a scene involving like houses. I'm not gonna get into any more detail, but yeah, I just didn't care about those scenes. But the cinematography is gorgeous. When I first watched this film, it was during the lockdown, and it gave me a sense of escapism. But now, I'm about to get my second dose. I no longer feel that sense of escapism. But still, I can appreciate cinematography, appreciate directing. I really hope Chloe Zhao wins directing. I think the reason why it's low on the list because I just felt bored in the third act. At number 4, we have The Father. Wow, this film is very depressing. Anthony Hopkins gives out a really great performance. I think it rivals Silence of the Lambs. Olivia Colman was fantastic in this film. I think the supporting cast was great, but Anthony Hopkins stole the show. Really like the directing. I really like the direction of the film. Really like the script. Really like how the topic of dementia was handled in this film. The reason why it's low on the list because it feels like a play, and you could clearly tell it was based off a play. But the director, which is also the writer of the play, tries to make the story as cinematic as possible, but it still feels like a play. Anyway, if you want a depressing film, go check it out. I thought it was a really good film. I gave it a 9 out of 10. All right, now we get to the upper mid tier, which is two movies. At number 3, we have The Sound of Metal. Riz Ahmed gives out a fantastic performance. I really like his performance. I thought the supporting cast was really good. Paul Raci, fantastic. I'm so happy that he got nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I can't believe nobody's talking about Olivia Cooke's performance. I thought it was pretty good, even though she didn't have a ton of screen time and isn't like as great as the other actors. I thought she was fantastic, and people should appreciate her performance. I really like, how the film respects, the deaf community and shows like a different perspective of, the deaf community. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the sound design. I felt like some scenes felt a bit too long, but for the most part, I thought it was a fantastic film. It's on Amazon Prime. If you haven't watched it, please check it out. And I'm definitely buying the Criterion Collection when it comes out next year. I give this film a 9.5 out of 10. I think you already know that. My second film is Judas and the Black Messiah. I knew some information about Fred Hampton because I took a class my sophomore year of college. My professor showed a pretty terrible film about the Black Panthers, and I thought it was solid, but it could have been better. And I have a feeling that if my professor reteaches the class, I think my professor will show this film over the film I watched. I thought it was very interesting. It was very like a crime thriller. Really like that. Really, I think it has the best pacing out of all the films. I really enjoyed this film. I really like the action scenes in this film. I really like Dan Kaluuya's performance. I also like Lakeith Stanfield's performance. I still don't know who's the lead of the film, but I thought it was fantastic. Supporting cast was fantastic. Dominic Fishback, Jesse Plemons, fantastic casting. Cinematography is surprisingly good. I have a hard time if I want to give this a 10 out of 10 or 9.5, but I'll stick with 9.5 as of right now. So this is a fantastic film. And number 1, and my favorite film out of all the best pictures is Minari. I really like the pacing. It's slow, but it's consistent. I think I really enjoyed this film a lot because I grew up in a family of immigrants, and I related to like the kids in this film. We like the grandma. Yoo Jung-yoon deserves Best Supporting Actress. The cinematography is gorgeous. I think the score is fantastic. I can't find like a flaw in this film. I think this is a perfect film. I really enjoy this film. As soon as it's available, I will own this film. More likely digitally, but and I'll give this film a 10 out of 10. So those are all my rankings. What are your rankings? Comment below. Check my letterbox. I post reviews of my films there. Anyway, bye everyone.